Thank you everyone for coming. The artists are coming out of the artist lounge right now. My name is Justin Brown. I am the executive director, founder of Polloy Art Gallery. Some of my other co-founders are Gary McAdag right there with the cameras around his neck. They document the show. R&B right here. A is a new member, but very, very important. Also, I'm a co-curator on the work we're doing with Indie Contemporary. It's going to be a gallery called R.E.Public, Garden Public. Polloy means the masses in Greek. We normally spell with I's, but we got rid of those and we replaced with Y's. A visual artist who did Karen Pope's poem on the wall is Lisa Marie Jackson. And that's Karen Pope. Her brother is a mentor of mine. She's a mentor of mine. Big inspiration, very side neighbors. I'm gonna get her away now.
I want to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight. I'm going to clap for you. Thank you. I'm sorry, I teach little children how to fight. And my big thing is clapping. So please forgive me if I say I want to clap for you. But I really do. And I want to thank you for holding space for me as I share my epiphanies. All right. Oh, and this is my wall. I'm hypnotized by something so subtle as a rhythmic beauty which flows from between full-parted lips, like hot breath floating across moist, naked skin, undeniable yet invisible. So I am pushed to stumble as if intoxicated, and I begin to sway with desire, hungrily awaiting the fruits of your tongue, languid, sweet, And the pain of anticipation is dulled only by the thought of not being worthy to receive more than what is exhaled into my being. Only after you decidedly put aside that swirling energy reserved for daylight hours and the unenlightened. Now, I lie in the shadow of your hue, that moment in between wanting, reacting, and all I can think is that I want you to breathe me in without pause and open more than my mind. Give me release from isolation unspoken so that my utterances may sing the praises of your caresses. Your mouth wantonly lavishes on me as you kiss my brow, as you kiss me just left of my smile, as you linger over my heat before tasting the wetness of my joy, before you open and enter me fully, deeply, adeptly removing all veiled certainty with every stroke, with every moan. Awakened I have become from my trance, and through my tears you are transformed, and I, anew, baptized with sight which hears more than what you just spoke to me. Another subtlety lost from you, as is the power of your breath, the power you had over me. Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, next up is going to be Karen Pope.
Thank you so much for being here.
No, thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think I just want to comment about the emotion that I at least got as I walked into the room and saw your work that Lisa helped do. I just think that's absolutely gorgeous, and I appreciate you contributing so much.
I'm so humble. Thank you. Thank you. It means a lot. I mean, everyone tends to know Carl, but now I'm being introduced. This is a coming out of sorts, which I think it's been in the making. So I'm ready and I'm honored and I thank you. And I thank you.
Can you say a little bit about the epiphany or idea behind the piece that's on the wall?
Well, when I got asked a little over a month ago that I want to participate, and I started to look at the work and realize everything that I've written has epiphany. It has a wave of epiphany. So to say yes to this was a no-brainer. And working with Lisa has been so awesome and beautiful. I've been able to see other sides of myself through showing this epiphany, my personal epiphanies. I've been able to see other sides of myself. So it's just, I can't say enough about what epiphany does. It's that body-mind connection of when you say yes, believe yes, and then do yes. I think my work carries that.
And I think you did a really wonderful job of sharing that and like having us experience that part of your practice.
Oh, thank you. It's part of my everyday practice. I don't separate what I do from Karen. This is all Karen. This is every day, all day long. I think some people compartmentalize. It's over here, and then I may bring it over here. Wherever I go, I take all of it.
Yes.
So, and the work shows that. I mean, different moments in time, but during the day, I'm having an epiphany all day. That Friday, when we were out on the sidewalk and I got asked, I had just been given a beautiful gift. And I never imagined, and when I opened the gift, yes, I said thank you, but that wasn't the first thought that came to mind. The first thought that came to mind is, I am worthy. I deserve. I am beautiful. All of that came, and then I said thank you. And once I got to the sidewalk to pick up Carl and saw Lisa and saw Justin, then I was able, and when I got asked to be in the show, I was like, yes, thank you. I believe I'm worthy and I will. So,
yeah.
Will you tell us about how you found or came into your writing practice?
Back in the late 80s, I lived on North Meridian and Carl lived on South Meridian. And he would come over to my apartment because he never had food. He would come over to my apartment to eat. And I vaguely remember this. I was in the bedroom doing something and I have all kind of knickknacks, vintage toys, and he was looking around and he says, "Oh, what's that under the dresser?" And I go, "Oh, I write it and then I never look at it again." So he was like, "Ooh, can I take a look?" "Sure, do whatever." And then he comes back and he goes, "Oh my God, you're a poet." And I'm like, "Oh no," because I went to college I wanted to be a pediatric surgeon. That was my path. So he's telling me I'm this poet and I'm going, how, why? And he said, "Just believe me, you are. Let's work together." So I was like, okay. In the beginning, it was just take it and do what you will, to me really being a part of it. So by the time this piece is from the Whitney, we did the Whitney biannual. This piece is titled Palimpsest. And what a palimpsest is, back before paper, they wrote on animal skins. Okay, and over time, erasing and rewriting and erasing, well, this is my palimpsest. Before I even walk out of the womb, society has written on me, I'm supposed to be this, and then family says you're supposed to be that, and then you go to school, and then you go to work, you go off to college, travel, da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, I'm taking power, I'm taking my power, and I'm going to rewrite who I am, not what I'm told I should be. So that's how we started. And over time, I just continued to write. You championed me. That was done at Tube Factory, Maury Evans. And I have a brain injury. That's my disability. It's a pretty fierce one. And they had sent me to physical therapy. And over the years, telling doctors, telling nurses, this is how my day is, this is how it goes. Well, that nurse just kept asking and asking and asking until the head nurse said, look, she told you it's A, B, C, and D. And that freed me. And that's, you championed me from a place of unseen being. And through that moment, I become revealed, illuminated, and now uplifted to a place of honor among the living. Carl saw that and said, oh, let's use it for Maury Evans. No problem. I have secrets. I'm a very quiet person, believe it or not. I don't say 2 words. And I thought about how I'm constantly quiet, but that doesn't mean that I'm not moving on the inside. That doesn't mean that I'm not feeling on the inside. That's where that comes from. I read, I'm So Hypnotized. That came from, I was in love with Doris's voice. I just loved her energy. But she couldn't see me because she was stuck in the past, trying to get with an ex. It didn't work before, but she wanted it to keep going, and never saw me. I came to the realization that she can't see me, she can't feel me, she can't hear me. I need to move on. Use darkness as a guise to do your worst, to be yourself. That was at Cincinnati, the Contemporary Arts Center. That was actually our first show. The last piece is we did a book project with Nicholas Mirzoff, The Appearance of Black Lives Matters. It's actually a history book starting from Reconstruction to civil rights to this phase now of Black Lives Matter. So The Appearance of Black Lives Matter is like the third leg of civil rights. And I was able to read that, really actually my first time reading at the Tube Factory about this time last year. Today was my second time reading. I'm not actually a reader, but I want to move more into that space. Another thing that's kept me from reading is because of my disability, my brain injury, I cannot always speak. Today is a really good health day. Most days when I wake up, I cannot speak. It's like an old car that's been sitting out and it's like 2 below and it's got to warm up. That's what my day is like, and it's been this way for 19 years. 19 years ago, I got hurt on my job. They shall remain nameless, and developed this brain injury from a chemical exposure. So it's a neurologic thing. It affects my balance, my speaking, speaking, arms and legs, all motor movements are drastically affected. So over these 19 years, I've done homeopathic treatments, just being positive, and just continuing on because life does not stop. Okay, so I feel like with this show and preceding shows, I'm getting back on track of where I wanted to be. When we did the Whitney in 2000, I was ready to come back and work on being published and and then 3 months later, then I got my brain injury. So I feel really blessed and fortunate to get back to where I wanted to be, but actually I'm a lot further along. You know, this has given me time to get my body of work up and to get the verbiage that I need to talk to you guys and to explain what it is that I do. I can't sit here and say that, oh, you know, I read Baldwin and Nikki Giovanni and da-da-da. I was reading comic books, okay? My artistic practice is informed from 60s television, comic strips, comic books, Pow, Boom, Bang from Batman and the Green Hornet. Seeing those words as a 6- and 5-year-old that, wow, you can spell a sound? So that, from seeing that, I developed my love for words and sounds, like ooh and Yeah, and listening to my mother and my grandfather tell stories, for me, it's not so much what they said, but how they said it. That clicks with me, and I think it's in my work. And it's not something that I consciously do, I just think it's who I am. And I put my hands together, and I thank Carl Pope Jr., because without him, I would not be sitting here now. I would not know about Epiphany. I would not know that I have so much to say and so much to give through words. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. I just wanted to
I think with me, I am in like an old car in a way. It takes a little bit, and once I get going, I'm rolling pretty good, right? Yeah, so I'm just, today has just been, this whole experience has just been so powerful and so beautiful. And I just want to, I'm fortified, and I just want to keep going. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, Karen.
Justin was at the Tube Factory and heard me read and was blown away. That was actually the first time that I really did it. And it was the piece from the appearance of Black Lives Matters. And in writing that piece and how I work with Carl, we actually work separately. That twin thing is in full effect. He goes and does his thing, I go and do my thing, and then we come together and it's like one person. So when the opportunity came up to write for the book, he goes, do you have any feelings about being black? Well, yeah. And I went out to my bedroom and I started writing, and at the end of it, I realized how angry I am. You know, you can't be black and breathe. You can't be black and drive. You can't be black and go buy bread, all of these things. And I had to get off of Facebook because it was just too much death and too much suffering. But this gave me an opportunity to speak to my rage. And I'm forever grateful to Nicholas Mirzon for that. And the beauty of the book, yes, it's a history book, but it also has spirituality, and it also has art. So I think at this moment, that is probably a major triumph, especially for me, because it's moved me into this space where I'm speaking in front of you, and I'm going to continue to speak about my work, and I'm going to continue to read, and not worry if my voice is going to be here or not. I can still give. So thank you, Justin, and thank you, Benjamin. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any more questions? Because I'll just keep going. I'm hyped now, sorry. I'm hyped.
Well, no, I just wanted to say, like, you always have space to, like, do your work. I feel like your work is very critical and very important, like, to see that and, like, interact with that. And so,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you. The appearance of Black Lives Matters also has given me an opportunity to be an activist in ways I never would have imagined. So if you were to walk up to me and ask Karen Pope, oh, are you an activist? Or oh, no, not me. Oh, yes, now, that is me. And it's in my work, and it's not a conscious thing. I think that, I'll use what Carl says. He once told me, he said, look, you live on a mountain way out in the middle of nowhere. If it is meant for you to be a jazz musician, heaven and earth will move for that to happen. So this is me. This is what I can. This is part of what I've come here to do, to be a voice and to speak and to express my experiences, because I don't think my experiences are any different from yours. And maybe I can give voice to someone like Anabe. Anabe, I've been friends with her for 11 years, and I've always shared my poetry. But it wasn't until 2 weeks ago she says, things I've never told you before. All of your poems made me cry. You touch my heart and have helped me to develop my emotional intelligence. Through you, I find who I am now. That That is saying a lot, and I thank her for that. So if I know her and and what I've done moves her like that, who's to say someone who walked in today and read this, maybe that will uplift them or encourage them. I'm all about encouraging. I mean, like I said earlier, I like to say I teach little children to fight, but actually I help them to develop their inner self, their sense of inner self. That you can do it. You can do it through pain. You can do it through being tired. I'm Miss Karen. I teach, it's called Little Dragons for 4, 5, 6, 7-year-olds. I teach karate, and I'm also a student, UKKS at 21st and Ritter. I work with them for them to feel good about themselves. I know I'm there to teach them to kick and punch. Personally, that's secondary. They're not going to kick and punch if they don't feel good about themselves, if they're worried, if they have doubts. So that's what I work on, and if I could have, I would have brought some of them here today so they can see what writing does for you, what reading does for you, and to know that we all have common experiences that we share. You know, some of this has pain. Who doesn't have pain? Raise your hand if you don't experience pain. Well, see, I'm able to freely talk about it. I'm not ashamed to say. I'm not ashamed to say that I wrote that poem for Doris, about Doris, that I was so attracted to her, but it just didn't work, and I'm okay with that. You know, I'm taken aback by the beauty of it. That came out of me. That's real. I'll never deny it. I'm just gonna keep going.
Yeah, very interested to learn more from you, but
I come from math and science to this. Math and science was not supposed to be, and I made peace with that. When I was there, to be honest, when I was in chemistry, walking to chemistry, the liberal arts classes were just on the other side of, I don't know, they had like this divider. And I always wanted to be over there. But I heard my father's voice. Oh, they don't make any money. How are you going to take care of yourself? And I continued on to chemistry to be told, you ask too many questions. Because my thing is, why can't we do it, And I was like, this is too rigid. Let me stop. I'm a dropout. Let me stop and figure out what I want to do. And I just kept all my jobs math and science related till palimpsest. And when I came back, I was like, I'm quitting. I'm going to be published. I can do this. And then boom, I got the brain injury. But I'm still on the path. The path, it twists and turns, but I'm on the straight and narrow now. So, and I'm grateful and I'm honored. Thank you.